So we just got an insane new leak for Resident Evil 9. It came about a few days ago. We're not going to be reading the specific leak. We're going to be reading the article written from GameRant.com addressing this leak. It seems pretty big. It's got a lot of information. The title of the article says, Rumor, Resident Evil 9 leaks may reveal title, setting, skinwalker enemies, and more. The latest rumors about the inevitable Resident Evil 9 may reveal information about the game's title, setting, enemies, and more. Article was written by Dalton Cooper. It was published 2 days ago. It sounds incredible. I've already read one article from ScreenRant, I believe, .com already. Just, getting some information on the backstory of it. But it does sound interesting. It does sound like it's going to be following a little bit more of the Resident Evil 8 formula, but including, I'm hoping, the third person aspect that Resident Evil 8 is introducing in the Shadow of Rose DLC. So let's just get right into it. It's not a lot of reading. It's going to be a lot more just read these things, then we'll share our opinions, as we've already covered Resident Evil 9 a ton here. So I'm really excited to get this brand new news. If you guys do enjoy the content on the channel, also, just smash the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing here if you guys want to stay up to date on all the latest gaming news, as well as just turn on that notification bell so you guys never miss uploads. So it starts off by saying Resident Evil Village is just over a year old at this point, and we will soon see the release of the brand new DLC in October. While Capcom is still working on producing new content for Resident Evil Village, rumors and supposed leaks have started hitting the internet about what the next game in the series will have to offer, potentially revealing the Resident Evil 9 title, settings, and more. And before I get any further, I don't think I have to say this, but of course, as we all do with the leak videos, please take it with a grain of salt. This leaked information originates from 4chan, unfortunately. So fans should take the information with a massive grain of salt. See, everyone says it. Even so, there has been a legitimate gaming leaks from this site, and so it will be interesting to see if any truth to the Resident Evil 9 claims. The information was discussed in a video by Resident Evil, who is one of the biggest Resident Evil YouTube channels on the planet. Claims that the Resident Evil 9 working title is Apocalypse. Resident Evil 9's plot will apparently be about the 9th moon phase, with the moon itself said to be serving as the game's symbol and potentially appearing in the logo. According to supposed leaks, Resident Evil 9 is going to be set in a ghost town in the west, with players able to explore caves, rivers, and a creepy forest area. Players will have to contend with deformed Wendigo creatures that have been likened to mythological monsters. It's said that the monsters will be able to mimic human voices and transform into friendly-looking NPCs. Great, so we're going to have mimics, almost like the Dark Souls series with the chests. Mirroring the Skinwalker urban legends, there will also be a giant black dog enemy that players will have to deal with, assuming the information is legit. And there was, I'll put it up on the screen for you guys, there was a black dog kind of giant character from Resident Evil Village. It says one of the main villains is said to be a woman in a dress in green and gold gown, with the video pointing out how they sound similar to Mother Miranda from Resident Evil Village. In the meantime, one of the other monsters in the area will actually be friendly to the player and fill Resident Evil 9's merchant role, as well as if the leaks are to be believed. All of this sounding interesting, but fans should keep their expectations in check. It sounds like a lot of safe guesses based on what Capcom did with Resident Evil Village, so it's entirely possible that Resident Evil 9 will go in a different direction entirely. However, this isn't the first time we've heard of Resident Evil 9 being in the works at Capcom. A more reliable leaker, Aesthetic Gamer, you probably follow him on Twitter, also goes by Dusk Golem, has said that Resident Evil 9 is in active development, and though its likely release date is 2 to 3 years from now, it's also been said that Resident Evil 9 will end the story that started with Resident Evil 7, so it would make sense for it to follow up on what the game Village and the themes it has already established. And it just says Resident Evil 9 leaks may or may not be legitimate, but regardless, Resident Evil 9 is going to be the next game in the series. First up is the Resident Evil 4 remake, which is scheduled to release in March next year. I'm also going to go back and dive into what I saved from the Resident Evil 9 from actually comicbook.com. They got into a little bit more details about the characters. So it says, just diving into that, and again, this article is written by Tyler Fisher. It says, according to the rumor, the working title of the game is Resident Evil Apocalypse, and it's set in a ghost town in the west where certain investigations will take place. The setting is said to be comprised of a small town, lots of different outdoor settings like caves and campsites. Populating these areas are described as deformed creatures that resemble mythological creatures. Apparently, locals call them Goatmen and Wendigo. Adding this, it's noted that there will be huge emphasis on body horror and that the monsters can get closer to players camouflaging as NPCs if the body of the original NPC died and players didn't see it happen. Speaking more of the map, the rumors claim that there's a large, unsettling forest that players can easily get lost in, presumably because it's dark and dense. The following details are also mentioned: an early boss called Barghast, that is like the black dog, a black giant dog with a twist, kind of like what we were just discussing in the last article. It just didn't get into much of the details. There's also going to be a woman called Glasstag, which is kind of like the old lady from Resident Evil Village, with a really beautiful design with the green and gold ornaments and a morning green gown, and other woman bioweapon characters that serve as a guide to the players. Like Glasstag, it's said that the monsters in the game fear and respect this character, like they do Glassklig. Also says that some of the rumors mention that players can force doors open, lock them, barricade them, and use melee breakable weapons. Lastly, it mentions the plot of the Ninth Moon phase, and that's where they got the name Apocalypse. So the leaks are pretty interesting there. They're definitely scarce, but it is, I think, kind of one of the first leaks that have come out in a very long time discussing Resident Evil 9, so it is pretty interesting. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Like I said, everything within this video, take it with a grain of salt. Parts of it sound very, like, similar to Village, like the big giant black dog they're talking about, the old lady character that I was mentioning from Village, and that they're going to have some form of that, but also she's acting as, like, the merchant character, which is a little bit different than having the Duke and that lady. The thing that really gets me intrigued, I want to say, is the setting. I've heard the name Apocalypse already being thrown around a ton, so it does seem like it could be, very likely, and how they said they're going to be doing the Ninth Moon phase, which I don't know what phase that is, but I'm assuming they could probably use one of the letters in the word apocalypse and change it to the moon like they were saying in that article. But yeah, the thing that gets me is the setting. The creepy forest sounds pretty cool because that's kind of like what's in Resident Evil 4, where you have like the small towns and then the creepy forest. Again, it's in a Western setting, so if that's what it is, that's really interesting because I don't think, Resident Evil's ever gone to the Yeehaw Wild Wild West. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. We'll take it. I like the setting of Village. I thought that was a really interesting one. So, I mean, if they're throwing a new one out there and they want to get nuts with it, like, let's bring it on. Let's see what they got. I want to know from these leaks what parts you have questions about. What do you think sounds the most intriguing? Like I said, for me, the Wild Wild West thing, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comments just what you found the most intriguing out of these leaks. As always, if you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing here if you guys want to stay up to date on the latest gaming news we cover, as well as just turn on the notification bell so you guys never miss an upload. As always, my name is Ross, and I will see you guys in the next video.